Welcome to my second video about the spells in the Dark Eye core rules, and the next spell is Manifesto. This is the spell I've already talked about. It summons a piece of elemental, like a flame, a piece of ice, a little stone or something. You don't get a lot, and it's a very simple spell, and you only need it you need to master it so you can learn a real summoning spell to summon an elemental spirit. I also said this was a ritual. When I explained the rituals for summoning, I was wrong. Simply, it is a spell. Then we have Manus Miracula. This is a very simple telekinetic spell. It lets you something close to you influence. You can lift something, or you can shape something. If you have clay, you can shape something out of the clay, and it's not very strong. You can only lift something rather light, and it is a very weak telekinetic spell. Motoricus is a more powerful telekinetic spell. You can lift and move something with telekinesis, and can be rather heavy. You cannot move very fast, and the movement is very slow at the start, so it speeds up after time. You cannot really use this to immediately bump someone away, but it's something you can use to carry a heavier load, and something you might not be able to reach actually, but you can still move it, lift it, and move it somewhere. Then this is Wall of Fog. That's the spell you see over here. You hold your hands like that, you blow inside, and then fog is created and comes out of your hands, and you can create a really thick and huge amount of fog that will cover a greater area. Oculus Illusionis is an illusion spell which creates a visual illusion. You will see something that is not actually there. Odem Arcanum is a simple arcane analysis spell. It simply tells you if something is magic. You can see if an item, an artifact is magic, or if a person is magic, if a creature is magic. It doesn't really show you the structures of the spells or the magic that is inside the creature or inside the artifact, like the first spell I mentioned does, the Analyse Arcanstruktur, but it still gives you some hints. If you're good at the spell, you can see that the structure is somewhere more dense. It will, because all you see is a glow. You see a glow, and if the structure, the actual structure of the spell inside is somewhere more dense, you may see that, or you may see that there is something where is a thicker structure, and that will allow you to know a bit of something about the spell that, or the power that is bound within an artifact or a creature. As I said, it is not as powerful and as good as an Analyse Arcanstruktur, but it is better than nothing. You need this spell if you want to make an analysis with magic lore test. Otherwise, you will really not be able to get anything out of an artifact to understand it. Then the Paralysis spell, it simply turns you into stone or makes you unmovable. This can also be used as a protection spell, because while you are paralyzed, you basically no one can hurt you. You're extremely hard or something. For example, there is a story where a magician was carried up by a dragon and dropped just in mid-air, and the magician, to protect himself, turned himself into stone, and then he crashed into a temple of prayers. The god of anti-magic destroyed the roof, fell to the ground, destroyed the ground, and then it was very interesting to explain what just happened to the priests, who were really not amused when they found a mage after a certain time who turned from to stone into living and had destroyed basically their temple. But you could use this to protect yourself in a situation. Of course, while you turn to stone, someone can carry you away and you have no idea where you will wake up. The next spell is Penetritze. It allows you to look through walls. The better you know the spell, the thicker the wall can be you can look through. Psychostabilis increases your resistance against magic or against influence of the mind. Radau is a spell of witches, and they can use a wooden object and make it attack everything within its reach. It's expensive to pay for it. You have to keep this up every combat turn, but while the spell is active, the staff or the broom or the wooden object in general is just hitting everything around it. Then the Respondami. Respondami will force someone to answer a question you ask truthfully, but the answer to the question can only be yes or no. You can't get an explanation or a complex answer. You have to answer a question that can be answered with yes and no, and the person will answer with yes or no, and the answer will be truthful. Then Salander. With Salander, you can turn someone into something else. For example, turn someone into this toad. Then Sanftmut. Sanftmut will calm down an animal and make it peaceful so it won't attack you. Satuarias Herrlichkeit. Satuarias Herrlichkeit will make you appear more attractive. So if you want to influence people or if you want to bewitch someone, then Satuarias Herrlichkeit is the right thing to do. It is a typical witch spell. Silentium. Silentium will create a sphere of silence around you. This will prevent from everybody hearing you. You can talk in this sphere, so you can pass by something without being heard. You can pass by someone without being heard, but it is a quite large sphere, and if someone gets into this sphere, he might realize that there is something wrong, because he can suddenly hear nothing, and he does create no more sounds. He can't hear his steps, he can't hear himself talk, he can't hear someone else talk. So it can also be a spell that tells someone that you are there instead of hiding you. Somni Gravis will send someone to sleep. Spinnenlauf is spider walk. It basically lets you do what this woman does here, the witch does in this picture. You can walk along walls and on the ceiling, and you will just stick there. Next spell is Spurlos, which means traceless. You will leave no traces when you walk somewhere, so no one can follow your trail if you're walking through the wild. Transversalis lets you beam to another location. You cannot beam over an infinite distance. It has to be at a certain distance. You must have been at this place before, so you know where you're going to be. And there's always a danger that you might land in a location where you don't want, because when there is something in a location where you are wanting to go, for example on a road, and there is a cart or someone is already there, then I think it will be very painful for you, and you will be thrown back to the location you came from. And yeah, that's basically it. Invisibly is the spell you are seeing here. It makes you invisible, but only your body. That's why the woman is naked and you see the cloth here in the background. It only makes your body invisible, and you have to take off your clothes to be really invisible. And the last spell is Water Breath. and it simply lets you breathe underwater. Then we have the rituals, and we have already talked about them. The rituals are Arcanovi, to cast a spell into an object, to create a magical artifact, calling a gene, summoning an elemental spirit, summoning a horned demon, summoning a minor demon, and making a weapon magical. And that's all, and that's the end of the chapter about magic. There are some lists and short descriptions of all spells you could copy to have it with you at the game table. And the next chapter will be about the gods and the priests. And I will not explain a lot of things because, for example, the liturgies the priests are casting work exactly the same as the spells. So the mechanic, how you roll a test, how you modify the range, the cost, the duration or something, is exactly the same as it is for the spells. So I'm not going to explain this in detail. So you will have to look at the explanation of how a spell works if you want to know that. Yeah, that's it for the magic chapter. If you have any questions about this video, about the spells, or in general about magics, then feel free to ask, make a comment, send me a message, and I'll try to answer you. So, bye.